Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. CSOs urged to take a proactive role in advocating for increased funding and resource towards immunization and reproductive health. Government remains committed to addressing the common barriers that hinder access to justice. And Tanzania bans South Africa and Malawi imports as trade war escalates. This bulletin is also live on our Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. The details, my name is Lance Sannie. The Zambian government the need for civil society organizations, CSOs, to take a proactive role in advocating for increased funding and resource allocation for essential services like immunization and reproductive health. Assistant Director, Adolescent and Reproductive Health at the Ministry of Health of Zambia, Angel Mwiche, noted that the recognition of achieving universal health coverage and improving immunization rates requires a multifaceted approach. Dr. Mwiche said this during the Universal Health Coverage UHC meeting organized by the Center for Reproductive Health and Education under the auspices of the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, PASS-GR, held in Lusaka. The meeting, which attracted over 35 delegates from government, CSOs, and other stakeholders, was held at the theme Effective Leadership and Governance for Enhancing Evidence-Informed Decisions Making in UHC in Zambia. He noted the importance of holding leaders accountable for their commitments, including achieving targets like the Abuja Declaration. He highlighted that Zambia had set a target of 80% coverage for immunization in accordance to the Vision 2030 on universal health coverage. However, the country was lagging far behind, and CSOs should begin to question this status quo. Dr. Mwiche urged the CSOs to consider looking at various factors, including cultural, religious, and traditional beliefs, which could be hampering the full immunization of children and the country making the needed progress. Dr. Mwiche stressed the importance on the role of citizens in demanding for accountability and voting for leaders who prioritize essential services.
We know where we are in terms of family planning and where we should go. Those are essential care and dental care, delivery in health facilities, those are essential services. So just by looking at where we are, we can be able to have a quick guess to say by 2030, I think we should be at this level. Our target for fully immunized is 80%.
Government says it remains committed to addressing the common barriers that hinder access to justice for many, particularly persons with disabilities. Justice Minister Princess Kasune notes that barriers such as inaccessible physical infrastructure, lack of disability sensitivity legal services, and limited representation of persons with disabilities in legal and political spaces hinder access to justice. Ms. Kasune says this can be achieved by strengthening legal frameworks, supporting law reform, and raising awareness among duty bearers. She says collaboration with organizations like the Disability Rights Watch and their allies is crucial in dismantling the systematic challenges. The minister has also highlighted government's recent approved new progressive disability policy and set ambitious targets to accelerate disability inclusion, empowerment, and improve the quality of life for persons with disabilities in Zambia. Ms. Kasune stressed that Zambia cannot build a prosperous nation if it continues to marginalize the voices, leadership, and lives experience of persons with disabilities. She said this in a speech read on her behalf by Tej Member of Parliament and member of the Parliamentary Caucus on Disability, Twambo Mtinta, at the Parliamentary Caucus on Disability Inclusion and Rights meeting in Lusaka today.
And with your guidance, we will ensure that the proposed constitutional amendment process is supported by the members of parliament who are part of this caucus, and we ensure that indeed it does not become an issue to be debated, but to be an issue to be agreed upon, because we are in agreement that we need to have a constitution that is inclusive in its nature. And the persons of disability shall be priority in our agreement to the constitution making process.
Speaking at the same event, Disability Rights Watch urged parliamentarians to support the constitutional amendments, saying they come at the right time and present an opportunity for the nation to enact more inclusive electoral laws. Organization Executive Director Wamundila Waliwa says the amendments are timely given the current cause for all-inclusive governance and accountability.
For Yasa Queens, the story continues to be very positive, as we heard earlier.
We apologize for the wrong audio played. And Parliamentarian Caucus Chairperson Joseph Monsanje says while he acknowledges important strides made, such as ratifying the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and supporting the development of the Persons with Disabilities Bill, implementation gaps remain. The Parliamentary Caucus on Disability Inclusion and Rights meeting on disability policy, legislation, and government commitment was organized by the Disability Rights Watch and supported by the ActionAid Zambia. The Zambia Law Development Commission is today hosting a one-day provincial consultative meeting in Livingstone District on the review of the Rent Act, Chapter 206 of the Laws of Zambia and the Landlord and Tenant Act, Chapter 193 of the Laws of Zambia. The meeting, which is currently underway, has brought together key stakeholders, including relevant government departments, civil society organizations, associations, landlords, and tenants from across Livingstone to deliberate on the progressive recommendations of the ZLDC to the two pieces of legislation governing landlord and tenant relationships in Zambia. Gracing the occasion as guest of honor, Mayor of Livingstone, Constance Mulebai, who applauded the commission on its consistency and on returning to Livingstone following the SNAP surveys conducted in the district in April 2024. She noted that such inclusive processes are important to ensuring that laws are people driven and responsive to challenges on the ground. The meeting forms part of the Commission's broader consultative efforts aimed at developing a layman's bill that accurately captures the views, aspirations, and practical experiences of stakeholders nationwide. Zambia Sugar has officially launched its sexual harassment policy aimed at enhancing regulations that prescribe conduct at the workplace, extending to all contacts and dealings related to the company. The launch took place at an event held at the company's estate in Nakambala, recently coinciding with April, which is globally dubbed as the Sexual Harassment Awareness Month. Speaking during the event, Zambia Sugar Human Resource Director Sharon Lima noted that the company already has regulations relating to sexual aggravation under its anti-harassment policy. Ms. Lima, however, stated that in a continued quest to make Zambia Sugar a safe and healthy working environment, management decided to develop an independent policy covering sexual harassment. She added that no employee should be discriminated against or harassed based on attributes such as choice of attire. Meanwhile, Zambia Sugar Director of Finance Hezron Musonda re-echoed the company's commitment in creating a psychologically and physically safe working space. He noted the need to have a defined policy on sexual harassment that harmonizes various viewpoints and incorporates cultural values in describing how employers, employees, and partners relate with one another. Mr. Msonda said the new document will cover all Zambia Sugar employees, including its contractors, consultants, and vendors, encompassing the office and any work environment, as well as all online communication platforms such as WhatsApp and emails. In her presentation, Zambia Sugar Legal Counsel Harriet Katongo highlighted various laws in the country's statutes, cautioning of penalties that range from civil to criminal against perpetrators of sexual offenses, including at the workplace. She added that every individual must feel comfortable in their line of duty without fear of facing sexual harassment and discrimination from colleagues. And in other news trending this evening, Community Action Against Corruption has challenged the Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) to tell the Zambians whether the two Financial Intelligence Center reports of 2023 and 2024 are still under active investigations or the chapters on the two reports have mysteriously been closed. Police have apprehended two suspects in connection with the recent theft of 1,500 by 50 kilogram bags of urea fertilizer and other farming inputs from a warehouse in Chinika Industrial Area incident. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
AB Bank Zambia has donated football kits worth 96,000 kwacha to Yasa Queens Football Club as part of its ongoing support for community development through sport. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Football Association of Zambia President Andrew Kamanga has congratulated both Yasa Queens Football Club and AB Bank Zambia for the initiative, noting its importance in promoting women's football in the country. And in response to an appeal by Yasa Football Club President Bishop Fleming Mtonga for FAS to prioritize educational policies in football, Mr. Kamanga has stated that the International Federation of Association Football FIFA now supports the Football for Schools programs. He has explained that under this initiative, teachers are being trained and football equipment is being distributed to schools with a strong emphasis on equipping both boys and girls with life skills beyond the football pitch.
For Yasa Queens, the story continues to be very positive. As we heard earlier, it's a story which gives us immense pride as a football family because of the work being done here. Bishop, we thank you, and please do not stop. Just to make a few points raised by the bishop, yes, as far as in terms of the education policy, I'm happy to report, Bishop, that we now have FIFA supporting what they are calling football for schools.
Meanwhile, AB Bank Zambia Chief Executive Officer Mr. Maximo Mulinga reiterated the bank's commitment to community development, stating that their involvement goes beyond financial services. He has emphasized that the bank actively supports small and medium enterprises, micro customers, and local corporate as part of its corporate social responsibility.
And also to our values, which we cherish so much. AB Bank is one of the commercial banks in Zambia and has been in Zambia for 13 years now, supported by a strong shareholder base, the major shareholder being Actis Holding from Germany. International Finance Corporation, which is an arm of the World Bank Group, KfW, which is the development bank institution from Germany, and FISIA, which is also a development arm of the French government.
Yasa Queens Football Club expressed gratitude for the donation, stating that the new football kits will significantly boost team morale and enhance performance on the field. Ends the business news, and now in foreign news, a normally bustling border crossing between Tanzania and Malawi was noticeably quieter than usual on Thursday as a result of an escalating regional trade war. From midnight, Tanzania banned the entry of all agricultural imports from Malawi and South Africa in response to what it sees as restrictions on some of its exports. South Africa has for years prohibited the entry of bananas from Tanzania. Malawi last month blocked imports of flour, rice, ginger, bananas, and maize from its northern neighbor. And in sports news, West Ham manager Graham Potter believes Nicholas Fukrag's recent outburst was not helpful to the club, and he would prefer players to voice concerns behind closed doors. German striker Fukrag accused several of his teammates of not listening to Potter after West Ham conceded a late equalizer at home to already relegated Southampton last weekend. The 32-year-old said he was very angry about his teammates' lack of motivation. And now the weather report. The evening is partly cloudy, windy at times, and warm to mild. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Zambian government has underscored the need for civil society organizations, CSOs, to take a proactive role in advocating for increased funding and resource allocation for essential services like immunization and reproductive health. Government says it remains committed to addressing the common barriers that hinder access to justice for many, particularly persons with disabilities. Finally, a normally bustling border crossing between Tanzania and Malawi was noticeably quieter than usual on Thursday as a result of an escalating regional trade war. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the evening.